Hi, Latricia. My name is Amber, and I wanted to respond to your post. You said a lot of great things that I personally have agreed with, and you also brought out some really good points. One of the big things you talked about when integrating psychology with Christian theology is the comprehensive approach that it gives us, because as humans, we are a triune being. We're body, soul, and spirit. And that is one of the big things that I feel like the Holy Spirit has just been really speaking to me about as we've been growing and discussing integration with psychology and Christianity. And I think it's really important that we, as believers, first off, understand that about ourselves. Because if we ignore one aspect of our body, I think it does a disservice. Like, even as believers, if we're ignoring our body, our physical needs, our soul and our spirit will actually suffer. If we ignore our spiritual needs, our soul and our body will suffer. And we need all of that. It encompasses everything. And so I feel like that's a similar approach when we talk about our Christian theology and psychology. We can't ignore the science of psychology, but it is important how we look at it and what lens we're viewing it through. And Hathaway and Yarhouse talk about that a lot in the text, and I really appreciated the emphasis that they had on the foundational piece of which we're viewing psychology, especially as Bible-believing Christians. And so it's really important. One of the big things that you mentioned that I thought was really good was that the integration respects both the spiritual and the psychological dimensions of human existence. And because of that, it provides a more complete approach. And so Richards and Burgeon talk about this in their text, A Spiritual Strategy for Counseling and Psychotherapy. He's talking about clinical practice as a physician, and in their research and their studies, they concluded that interventions that were designed to promote the relaxation response were way more powerful when they drew on people's deepest religious and spiritual convictions. And so they found their clinical practice and clinical techniques that were really promoting relaxation for their patients. They were finding that the response from the people were way more powerful when they integrated people's religious and spiritual convictions. And so I think this just really proves the point of even what you're saying when we're talking about integration. When we're integrating psychology and Christianity, they really add value to one another. If we go in and we just focus on spiritual but ignore the science and the psychological evidence of how we're designed and how God made us, then I think we lose value into who we are as body, soul, and spirit. And the same thing, if we were to ignore the spiritual side of things and only focus on the physical, we would ignore a huge aspect in healing and wholeness. And so, anyways, thank you for your post, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the class. Thank you.